Prime Minister Skerrit defends his latest tour to promote the Economic Citizenship program as a success. Dominicans warn to stay away from the boiling lake as the water level and temperature drop. And Fri18th and the Bureau of Gender Affairs collaborate on a symposium for men on International Men's Day. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up.
What's up, y'all? This your boy Wyclef Jean. Y'all watching Moppin'. Let's get it, baby.
First up in the news, very successful is the term being used by the Prime Minister to describe his most recent trip abroad to promote the country's Citizenship by Investment program. Speaking to the media on Friday, the Prime Minister disclosed that he had been to Hong Kong, Bangkok, Dubai, Jordan and Morocco to promote the program to potential investors.
It is a success because we achieved our objective of propelling and keeping Dominica out front as the premier destination in the region for investment in what is commonly referred to as citizenship by investment. As has been our practice over the past few years, we organized a series of promotional events in the marketplace. I think it is important, ladies and gentlemen, for persons in Dominica and the wider diaspora to understand that the CBI program has become very competitive. Not only are we, as an island in the Caribbean, competing against similar programs in other regions of the world, but we are also competing against each other as a region.
The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to express bafflement and disappointment in those who continue to condemn the CBI program.
Here again, I am amazed by the brazen ignorance of some in our midst who still do not understand the need for and importance of direct interpersonal marketing of a product such as CBI. Every head of government involved in the CBI program do this from time to time. I chose this time because there were several organized conferences from which Dominica could have benefited as a consequence of my attending. It is mystifying that the government is under attack for bunching the many events into a single trip, rather than spreading them over 3 or 4 trips that would have costed 3 or 4 times the price.
Mr. Skerrit also shot down the criticisms on the amount of money spent on airline tickets, hotel accommodation, and the 3 artists who completed the contingent of Dominicans at the Dubai leg of the trip.
What is the controversy this time around all about? That US $100,000 was spent on a marketing initiative to safeguard US $100 million of direct revenue for Dominica? That 3 local entertainers were part of a total 9-member delegation that went to Dubai? And that the 3 entertainers were each paid $1,000 in appreciation for their sterling performances? That as a result of this marketing initiative, the government of Dominica is supremely confident that it will, this next financial year, surpass the $271 million derived from the CBI contributions last year? Is that what the controversy in the country is about?
In other top stories, men will take the spotlight this weekend as Dominica joins the world in observing International Men's Day. For the first time, the Bureau of Gender Affairs will collaborate with Fri18th to host the phenomenal Caribbean Men's Symposium at the Pastoral Center in Montrose on Saturday.
Some of the objectives of this symposium is to get men, to motivate each other, get them in a setting that they can share experiences with each other. Just to celebrate men, the achievements, some of the challenges they may experience, to empower them because they will have about a few male speakers that are very successful. So the aim of that is to share their stories and empower the men, the other men that will be listening to, aim for their dreams, be successful in whatever they do.
Following the morning symposium, men will then be engaged by the Bureau to help create a gender violence prevention program.
And in the afternoon, the Bureau of Gender Affairs will be doing an activity with them called a mapping exercise, where we'll be getting them to come together to plan a gender violence prevention program among themselves. That's one of the aims of the Bureau, to help prevent gender-based violence. And, men are a very integral part of that. So, we need to involve men, and this is one of the ways that we're doing it to commemorate with International Men's Day.
The theme for this year's International Men's Day is Stop Male Suicide. And momentum is building within the Caribbean to transform rural communities through what's called mini-grid projects. Idona John Baptist has been in the Dominican Republic all this week. She files this report.
Experts of renewable energy initiatives in Latin America and the Caribbean are looking at how they can increase resilience of villages to natural disasters with electricity access. The Smart Villages initiative is promoting rural development with the use of electrical energy. It's part of a thrust towards providing electricity through mini-grid projects.
If rural communities have their own decentralized energy generation, and if they've been able to harness the technology to bring in those services remotely, and if they've been able to build up a degree of savings, that makes them quite powerful to be able to respond to natural disasters. If a natural disaster comes along, or even if a man-made disaster comes along, or a health epidemic, for example, or a price shock, it means that you still have the energy generating capability, maybe not at the scale that grid connection would give you, but you've still got enough power to turn on the lights, to be able to operate a radio, to remain in communications contact with the rest of the country, to be able to run the refrigerations, keep the schools open, keep the healthcare clinics open, and having then the assets that you've built up, it makes you as a community able to withstand that and to continue to function with a degree of normality until normal access can be restored. And that's very good for governments as well, because it means that they don't have to respond to things with a great deal of urgency, because that's the only way that the population can receive access to all those services. It takes the pressure off them to an extent.
The World Bank has funding mechanisms available to push rural electrification.
The World Bank is a very important partnership and participating with the society, with the IDB and other organizations, to co-finance or co-participation in the project. The World Bank created a very interesting programs to improve a new technology and uses not only the technologies but introduces a new mechanism to include populations through the planning and implementing process in the electrical rural systems, and of course the World Bank has very important interest to implement the project of the rural electricity.
On the sister island of Antigua and Barbuda, renewable energy initiatives are being employed to alleviate poverty.
We have two things going on now. We have large installations of renewables, and we have what we call a small grant program, where the small grant program targets the what we would call the less fortunate or the lower income individuals who cannot, what we would say, manage the cost of high electricity. And so we have a program that is targeting these group of people, disabled folks. We have installed solar systems on the meeting room for the disabled folks in Antigua and Barbuda, and we are presently doing other work with them also. They are grid interactive, so they're connected to the grid. So during the nights when they cannot supply their own energy 100%, that's when the grid would come in and help them to cover the rest of the energy that is needed for their homes and so forth.
And scientists at the UWI Seismic Research Center have confirmed that changes in water levels at the boiling lake are not necessarily related to increased volcanic activity in the area or to geothermal exploration. Quite a bit of concern in recent days over the drying up of the boiling lake, a phenomenon that has occurred several times since 1876. The lake levels have dropped significantly and has been restored at least 7 times in the past recorded history: 1876, 1900, 1901, 1971, 1988, 2004 and present. On the 8th of November 2016, visitors to the boiling lake reported that it had drained again. The Office of Disaster Management, in conjunction with the Forestry Division and the Trinidad-based Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies, has been monitoring the situation at the boiling lake for the past few days. During these episodes, harmful gases such as carbon dioxide can be released. Small steam explosions may also occur. As a result, the authorities are warning people swimming in the lake to stop, since the water can return to its original boiling state with little or no warning. The Charlotte Nursery and the National Youth Council came together Friday to celebrate Universal Children's Day. Principal Glenda Bertrand said focus was placed on healthy eating and diabetes.
So we just came out from the Newtown Primary School where they viewed a film explaining to them about the disadvantages and the advantages of eating healthy. And I said disadvantage because according to what they eat, it can just make them get sick and they get diabetes. But the advantages are if they eat properly and they exercise, and it will be a plus for them, you know, when they get older. The children are now having snack, and we stress to the parents that the children must have a healthy snack today, and they're also dressed beautifully. We decided to put the sports uniform away for today and let them come to school, you know, semi-formal.
Bertrand said overall the day went well and the National Youth Council gained a lot from the life of the preschoolers.
A lot of the times I think when they were doing the interview, they went down to the level of the children. I think the children enjoyed it, and we are going to just enjoy the rest of the day. I think all daycare centers, all early child education centers in Dominica should at least do something to celebrate Universal Children's Day, which will be celebrated on the 20th of November. And we're happy that Mapping came to view some of the sights and songs of the children having snack and enjoying themselves.
Meantime, in his address to mark International Children's Day, Eardley Pierre, the male CARICOM youth ambassador, said the significance of this year's theme cannot be overstated, as we live in a society where our young boys and girls are subject to many forms of neglect, abuse and violence far too often. He said the NYCD shall vehemently and ceaselessly condemn all forms of violence against the children of Dominica. Mr. Pierre has also commended government for recent amendments to the Sexual Offences Act, which strengthen the legal framework for the protection of our children. And His Excellency President Charles Savre began presenting the annual cash donations to charitable organizations on Friday. His first stop was at the Maho Senior Citizens Home. The cash donations are from proceeds of the President's Charities Dinner. 17 different institutions will be assisted to the tune of $38,500. His Excellency will visit a number of other organizations between now and December 14. You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, the boys take to the stage at their first ever choir festival.
Yo, this is Kes from Trinidad. Yo, blessing up my opinion. You don't know. Keep it locked, keep it locked, keep it locked for everything entertainment. Boom.
Thank you for staying with us. In police news, 30-year-old Trevor Abraham of Savanpai has been charged with the murder of 53-year-old Hubert Wright of Granby. Wright's partly decomposed body was discovered in a shallow grave in Savanpai on November 8. Abraham is currently on remand at the state prison. Another body was discovered on Thursday morning. This one has been identified as 54-year-old Dennis Bernard Toussaint of Point Michel. Police say Toussaint was discovered at his father's residence in an unconscious state. In other news, one of Dominica's hotels has good reason to be proud. The awards were announced in London last week. Attendees included boutique hotel owners, travel and lifestyle press, and influencers from around the world. The Boutique Hotel Award is dedicated to recognizing excellence among boutique hotels. And Dominica's female representative at the initial Wildlife event in the United States will also be representing her country in the Wildlife Summit in Peru this week. Andrea Louis has more.
Valerie Honoré, a project officer with the East Dominica Children's Federation, spent 5 weeks at the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, YLI, in the United States from October to early November. The initiative brought together 250 young people from across the Caribbean and the Americas to help them network and develop their entrepreneurship skills.
So we were each placed with different organizations, different non-profits and some established businesses where you had mentors who would guide you along the way as it relates to entrepreneurship, as it relates to building and advancing your business idea or your project idea. I was placed in North Carolina and my placement was with Triangle Family Services, which is an organization which seeks to strengthen the community by building families. And they look at empowering families, they look at domestic violence, they look at mental health, and it was just an awesome opportunity to be able to learn the different cultures and to be able to learn how they address national issues at that level.
While I exposed the participants to a multitude of opportunities for youth development, and Honoré believes summits such as these should be more readily available in the Caribbean region.
The placement program also gave opportunity to meet with other organizations and other clubs that are involved in youth empowerment. One of the amazing things that I found with being in the U.S. is the wide range of opportunities that exist for entrepreneurs, the support network that exists that we lack in Dominican as a region. So I believe that it would be very good to have that type of environment created where entrepreneurs, where young leaders can be able to get access to opportunities, where they can be able to develop to their full potential. We live in a society where we know that youth account for a greater percentage of our population, and so we need opportunities for them to be able to develop themselves and to maximize on their full potential.
As a follow-up to the initiative, a select group from the 250 individuals will visit Peru for a period of 3 days to further dialogue on how to strengthen youth across the world.
President Obama will be hosting a town hall meeting for young leaders and entrepreneurs, speaking about youth leadership, speaking about entrepreneurship, speaking about creativity and innovation to target global challenges. About 60 members of YLI were selected to go to Peru. It's a supplement program from the fellowship program, so it will be a wonderful opportunity for us to network and also speak with President Obama.
Honoré is encouraging other young people to get involved in entrepreneurship work and to help bring positive change to society.
And Rhoda St. John has been installed as the president of the Business and Professional Women's Foundation. Regional coordinator of the North America and the Caribbean BPW International says St. John is now a member of the board of directors in the region as well as BPW International.
So your voice is now going to be heard through her throughout the world. We are going to have our orientation and our training meeting afterwards, but because we have some guests here, we are going to be having first the installation of officers. Once the officers are installed, then we can go on with our meeting.
The officers were also officially installed. The boys have been practicing and they turned out at Arawak House of Culture on Friday for the Cultural Division's first ever All-Boys Choir Festival. The event was jointly organized with the Ministry of Education. The festival seeks to showcase the skills and talents of male youth and to help develop a national all-boys choir. That's news. Your sports highlights next.
We start off with cricket as the big Under-14 Bollarama Festival organized by the Stars Cricket Academy will be held this coming Sunday at Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. That's when 14 teams from around the country will be competing. The league coordinator Glenn Joseph says that Sunday will be a very exciting day for young cricketers around the island.
Now, the final preparation for the Bollarama, putting the final pieces together, and like I will say tonight, that we've gone along very good, and we've in a stage where we can say it's almost done. We like I said, we are grateful for the persons who contribute to the event, and we are working very hard to ensure that we have a great time on Sunday. The Boanef Fall Titans, the Red Rock Flames, Congori Warriors, Les Kaliteche Kalinagos, Indigenous Baranahote, Emerald Pool Splashers, Indian River Marlins, Syndicate Rangers, Lai River Invaders, Rodney's Rock Conquerors, Boiling Lake Steamers, Sulphur Springs Bleachers, White River Bullets, and the Matutus Hawks.
Addresses will come from Portsmouth Mayor Titus Francis, League Coordinator Glenn Joseph, Sports Coordinator Trevor Shillingford, and the President of the Dominica Cricket Association, Emmanuel Nanthan.
The Dominica Cricket Association really has not played any part in what we're doing. I think while I will say here that the President called me and highly, commend me on,
that's Mr. Nanthan.
Mr. Nanthan, on what we're doing, and he believes it's the way to go for cricket, and he wants to be part of it. He wants to be a contributor to what we're doing, because to him, he believes these are things that he was expecting to happen long time. But we still believe there are some persons in the association downplaying it, and I think this is something that we want to deal with. And so we want to ensure, we wrote to the Dominica Cricket Association. As a matter of fact, initially they were supposed to be a partner. So the three partners would be the Dominica Cricket Association, Stars Academy, and the Sports Division. The Dominica Cricket Association choose not to.
Going to the football field, Maho Soca Strikers begins their dream to head back to the Premier League of the Dominica Football Association when they defeated La Plaine by 3-2 on Thursday at the Dubla playing field. Gerald Sebastian, Kazimi Benjamin, and Denzel Loda scored 1 each for the Soca Strikers, while Alden Graham and Ridge Blaise scored for the LA Stars. In the other match of the evening, Police Sports Club and Harlem United played to a 2-2 draw at the Newtown playing field. Delroy Victor and Eustace Marshall scored 1 each for Harlem, while Kenny Thomas and Matthew Walsh netted 1 each for the Police. Division 1 continues with 1 match on Sunday, with Club Loubier taking on Gully Dream Team from 4 at the Newtown playing field. Onto the domino table, the finals of the Element Agencies and the Kubuli Domino competition will be staged in a big way in La Plaine on Sunday from 1 p.m. That's when Kentos will come up against Point 1. The prize giving and the closing ceremony will be held right after the big finals. A number of attractive prizes and a family fun day are part of the main activity for Sunday in La Plaine.
We're looking forward for a very competitive final. This Sunday, I have decided, Element Agencies, we have decided to make it a family affair, because as you know, for the past time, guys leave their home and go to play domino. But this Sunday, we decided to make it a family affair. So I'm bringing up the bouncing castle. I have bouncing castle for kids, so parents, you can bring your children. We are expecting addresses from the PAL Rep, the Honorable Peter Saint-Jean. We are expecting addresses from you, Delvin, from the Domino Association, from representatives of Kubuli, Chibisau, Elvis and the crew will be there. Myself will be there. Also, we're going to have something from Mr. Ron Graham. And all in all, is a domino competition, but at the same time, it's fun for the whole family.
The second place match will take place the previous night.
Saturday night, I should say, we have a second place game between Suzette and Dungeon, and that game will be played at Kento's Barn Grill from 7 o'clock Saturday. But the great day, the big day, is Sunday, 1 o'clock. the finals and the prize-giving ceremony from about 5:30 at Point 1 Disco at La Place.
The Stafford Morancy Domino finals will be held on Sunday in Trafalgar from 3 p.m. between Costulas and Mont Prosper. Moving on to rounders, one semi-final match will be played this Sunday at the Portersville Savannah from 12 noon. That's when two of the top teams in the National Rounders League will battle for a spot in the finals this coming month end. The semi-finals will be played between Marigot Cooperative Credit Union Stars and Rising Stars from Grand Bay. Heading further afield for some international cricket, world number 2 test playing nation Pakistan has found the going rough in New Zealand conditions after day 2 of the first cricket test in Hagley Oval. After losing the toss and batting in difficult conditions after the first day was entirely washed out due to heavy rain, the Pakistanis were bowled out for 133 runs. Only captain Misbah Ulaq showed some fight with 31 runs. CD Granum picked up 6 wickets for 41 runs, and both Bolt and Tim Southey supported with 2 wickets each. The Kiwis closed the day on 104 runs for the loss of 3 wickets, heading towards a very interesting day 3. Not-out batsmen J. Raval on 55 not out and H. Nichols on 29 not out. And to end the sports highlights with more cricket, India held the upper hand after day 2 of the second cricket test match against England. After being 317 for 4 wickets, they were bowled out for 455 in their first innings. Captain Kohli top scored with 167, Pujara 119 and Ashwin 58. Bowling for England, James Anderson 3 wickets for 67 runs and Molly Ali 3 wickets for 98 runs. Then the Englishmen struggled to the spin of Ashwin and closed the day on 103 for 5 wickets. Joe Root top scored to date with 53. Ashwin has picked up 2 wickets for 20 runs so far. The not-out batsmen are Stokes and Besto on 12 runs each. That's it for sports. Have a great weekend.
Coming up, your weekend weather forecast.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janelle Macpherson and I'll be your presenter this evening. Infrared satellite imagery today showed this area of deep convection associated with a frontal boundary. Across the Lesser Antilles, some low-level clouds were observed today. Visible satellite imagery showed fair to partly cloudy skies across Dominica this afternoon. Radar imagery indicated widely scattered showers across the island chain. The weather for tonight, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers, and these conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow with temperatures peaking near 32 degrees Celsius. Seas tomorrow moderate in open water with waves peaking up to 7 feet. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, the high-pressure system is expected to result in occasional cloudiness and widely scattered showers across the island. Throughout the Caribbean tomorrow, the high-pressure system will result in occasional cloudiness and scattered showers. On the international cities forecast, clear skies expected in New York, overcast conditions in Miami, cloudy skies in London, thunderstorm activity in Caracas, and snow expected in Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:10 a.m. and sunset at 5:32 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, please visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Scary defends his latest tour to promote the Economic Citizenship program as a success. Dominicans warned to stay away from the boiling lake as the water level and temperature drop. VF Inc. and the Bureau of Gender Affairs collaborate on a symposium for men on International Men's Day. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris, and to our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Do have a great weekend.